Anna's house looks like something from a fantasy movie. You just think, oh my God, only Anna lives here? I like having people over to my house for dinner too. I'm just not used to one server for each guest.
All that glitters isn't gold but diamond in the Bling Empire because the show features some of the richest and bougiest people from the world. Jaws have already been dropped after witnessing the lavish lifestyle of the cast of Bling Empire, and now fans are obviously wanting more. These people spend so much money so easily that it will leave us wondering how much more, or what they can buy more. How exactly can they afford their ridiculously expensive lifestyle, and what are they all worth? Stick with us to the end to find out how rich are the cast members of the Bling Empire.
I've told Janice a lot of my personal issues, and now she's going out with Kevin.
This LA beauty thrives on glitz and glamour, and that's pretty obvious from her lavish Malibu house. Kim Lee's net worth is close to $10 million, and she spends most of it on living the most exciting life. The celebrity lives in a house that's located right beside the Azure Ocean, so her Mediterranean villa is surely a sight to behold. But it also comes with a hefty price tag, costing the star $4.2 million. Kim Lee lives in a mansion that's very well suited for a millionaire, as it has a huge swimming pool and palm trees all around it. But in the show, it looks like she splurges most of her money on super expensive clothes, bags, and of course, lip fillers.
Better if we kind of just be like friends or something, you know?
Kevin is a rather laid-back fella, despite his enormous net worth of $10 million. But despite having all this money, Kevin isn't seen splurging so much in malls. He's not into the lavish lifestyle either and tries to live in a very minimalist way. In fact, his apartment is also quite small, but very aesthetic. Kevin doesn't like to hoard stuff and has a very monotonous house with a comfy setting. He does spend a lot of his money on expensive cars and branded sneakers, but that's probably about it. The star even got into a car accident recently, and that's only 10 minutes after he bought his very expensive Tesla, but luckily he was safe and sound. Kevin says this quite often, that he's not rich, but he still has quite a lot of money. He was actually adopted and still doesn't know who his birth parents are, but he's still doing pretty well in his life, with being a fitness coach and modeling with Gillette, which is a very mainstream brand. Dorothy is a celebrity by true means, as she's owned an apartment which could be considered as one of the most luxurious among the whole cast. She's worth a whopping $10 million. Not only that, she recently moved into a Chelsea apartment that's beyond perfection. The apartment alone cost her more than $7 million. And now with all that space she has for clothes and shoes, Dorothy will probably be spending the rest of her money on designer wear for sure.
In the Chinese New Year, you wake up with money. You collect money in a red envelope. Such a good holiday.
Kane lives a royal life in his luxurious Hollywood-style condo that's literally every A-lister's dream. Kane is worth $20 million, and most of it comes from his family, as his father is worth billions of dollars and has a very successful property and shipping empire. Kane never shies away from spending all his money on his very expensive shoe collection that cost him about $380,000. Most of these shoes are sneakers and they're bejeweled with some pretty expensive pieces. Kane recalls that he once walked in a store of designer shoes and he bought one pair of every single shoe they had. If that doesn't tell you how rich he is, we don't really know what will.
Here's the thing, okay, I'm gonna speak and I'm gonna ask if you cannot interrupt.
Jamie Xi's father is not just rich, he's Silicon Valley rich. Jamie herself is worth close to $50 million, and she often says on the show that even her horses fly in Emirates. The star is an influencer and YouTuber with 500,000 subscribers, and she rents a chic penthouse in LA with a really bougie balcony that offers the best view. Although her apartment is low-key and minimalist, she surely isn't.
Over in a million years, really that's how naive I am. Would have thought that Kane would do all of this.
Christine Chu is here for the throne, as she is a very witty businesswoman and has built her $80 million empire from scratch. She actually owns a very luxurious and exclusive clinic in Beverly Hills and runs it with her husband. Because of the clinic, Christine has ties not just in Hollywood, but also in the royal family of China and Britain. Both Christine and her husband also come from royal families of Taiwan and China, and she has even joined hands with the British royalty and funded a health center with King Charles. Moreover, the couple live in a place that would rather be called a palace because of its state-of-the-art amenities and size. The palace is laden with rose gardens, a gym, swimming pool, and everything that's suited for the modern-day royals. She also has a huge couture that's enough to blow anyone's mind. The pop star of the past was a huge deal at one point, but she gave it all up just so she could be with her family. After all, she's the heiress of a billion-dollar empire and is worth about $200 million, a number that most Hollywood stars only wish to hit in their career. Cherie got a successful denim business from her parents and also founded a tequila brand herself. She even got married to Cherie Lee, who's worth $15 million. Interestingly, Cherie gave birth to her first child while she was filming for the Bling Empire, and she said that she really can't wait to get her baby into a Hermes box and take lots of snaps. It seems like the star really can't survive without being decked up with branded clothes and lots of diamonds, and it was pretty clear with her gorgeous ensembles on the show.
I think it's very important to have fun.
Anna is often called the Queen of LA, and she's the daughter of a very rich businessman, which is another reason for her savagely iconic behavior. Her net worth is close to $600 million. She and her brother sold the company of her father after his demise, and they got more than $1 billion, so her net worth is obviously justified. Anna also has royal blood from her mother's side, and although she's never been spotted with a husband, Anna has been married 4 times and has kept things very private, despite having a 27-year-old son. She also owns a very extravagant mansion that's worth $16 million, made while keeping all the modern theories of minimalism and aestheticism in mind. It reportedly is such a pretty house that at one point even Shirley Temple used to live in it. The heiress doesn't really shy away from spending her millions on her friends, as she's known to give limited edition Rolexes to them and gives away Christian Dior like it costs a couple of bucks. At one point in the show, Mimi was the richest cast member and she owned it very proudly. The star is worth a mind-blowing $800 million, and her presence makes the show all the more exciting for sure. Mimi comes from a very rich family from Vietnam, and she owns multiple businesses that add a lot to her wealth. But she is also a social media influencer and endorses really bougie brands like Louis Vuitton and Chanel. So these paid partnerships also add a lot to her net worth. She also owns 3 Rolls-Royce cars, as she loves the brand, and even has several Ferraris. The millionaire lives in California and in a very extravagant house that's located in a gated and highly exclusive neighborhood. It's actually a sea-facing house that cost Mimi more than $8 million. If you want to know how popular Mimi really is in the fashion world, just know that Dolce & Gabbana celebrated her birthday by inviting her over and gifting her an exclusive and custom-made dress. DNC does something of this sort very rarely, and the last we remember they hosted the wedding of Kourtney Kardashian, so you can only imagine how big of a deal Mimi actually is. Stefan and Deborah surely are the richest people to star in the Bling Empire, and their net worth is more than a whopping $2 billion. Stefan actually is a very successful businessman and owns SH Capital Group. He is also the VC of a very famous casino chain, Rio in Macau. Most of their wealth comes from Stefan's business, as Deborah was a lawyer, but she quit the practice and has now opened a modeling agency. The famous fashionista wears nothing but glam, as even the pieces of her daily wear are mostly Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton, and Dior. She's also great friends with Donatella Versace and hangs out with her quite often. She also travels in style with her personalized Rolls-Royce that's all dolled up in pink crystal. Deborah and Stefan also live in a mansion that puts even the most luxurious places to shame, as their house is the definition of beauty and elegance. They've spent millions of dollars in buying and renovating their house, but they try to keep it under the wraps just to make sure that their security isn't compromised in any way.